What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a great one for you. We are going to show you how to take a basic crawler and turn it into a RC 4x4 Pro Mod puller. And we're going to use this Traxxas TRX4 as today's example. Now, everything that we're going to talk about can also apply to axials. The reason I'm using a TRX4 is because not a lot of people in the industry use the TRX4s. They prefer the straight axles. However, I prefer the amplifying of the torque with the portal axles of the TRX4. So today we're going to go into what makes a great world-class Pro Mod 4x4 today, guys. All right, so the first thing you're looking at, don't be intimidated by this, okay, guys? This is a really fun part of the hobby. The first thing people do is usually look at this and go, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to walk away from it. This is really not that hard, guys, and really it can be gone over in less than 10 steps to make your crawler into a Pro Mod 4x4. All right, so let's lift off the lid and take a look here. I've got the magnetic lid on here because that's just the better option for me. Okay, so everything you're looking at is pretty familiar. You're like, well, there's not a whole lot going on here. There's more than meets the eye, guys, which is why we're doing this video, because there's been a lot of interest in this part of the hobby and what you need to do to build all this out. So the first thing you need to do is build a hitch, because you can't pull without a hitch, right, guys? So let's look at what we've done back here to build our hitch out. And you see our hitch is really strong. It's made of our material, but you can use aluminum stock from, you know, any hardware store. That works out really well. As you can see, we've bolted it onto one of these, kind of a universal bolt. You can use these for snow plows or any kind of attachment. You can find them on eBay or Amazon. They're just little pillars that go into the frame on your TRX4, and you can really build it out however you like. The main thing is you need to build it out with a 2.5-inch hitch height, and you notice how there's no give in the suspension back here. So as we're talking about our hitch, we have to talk about our suspension. Now, I choose the Desert Lizards. Those are made by Yaw Racing. The reason for that is I can compress them all the way in. I don't know if you can see in there, but these are compressed all the way in, and you can use the multiple springs in the package to do so. The best results get when you have a solid rear axle. You don't want the rear end jumping. You want it to be solid right there on the ground. Now, as far as the front goes, the front, the rules say you have to have a little bit of shock. And as you can see right there, we've got our little bit of suspension right there, as you can see. So everything is within the rules. So really, guys, that is the first step. Is you can't pull anything unless you got a hitch. So if you guys are curious about the rules, check out American RC Tractor Pullers League. They will have all of the national rules. There's East Coast and West Coast rules, and we can show you the difference between the two of them, and we'll have all the stuff there. You can see it on the Facebook pages or just out there on the web in general. All right, so the second thing that we're going to focus on, guys, is wheels and tires. That's really what makes this a puller, right, guys, is the wheels and tires. Every time you go to a stadium or a county fair, you always see these agricultural barred tires. Now, a lot of people, there's actually two types of these. There's the pros and the non-pros. The pros just came out and they are a little bit thinner bar, so a lot of people shave these down even closer to the wheel, or closer to the tire there. And the reason for that is you want wheel speed. There's a couple things you're after. It's about weight balance. It's about wheel speed, torque. There's a lot that goes into pulling. It's just like drag racing or any other sport, except in my opinion, I think there's a lot more that goes into this, but I'm sure a lot of people will be able to tell me where I'm going wrong. So wheels and tires, if you're going to build a pro mod, either in the 10-pound or 12-pound class, which you'll learn all about that. The difference actually is this is a 4x4 pro mod, which means it runs on 3S and it weighs exactly 12 pounds with all of the weight, body, and everything, the battery. It has to weigh under 12 pounds. The other class is the 4x4 super stock or 10-pound dirt, and it has to weigh under 10 pounds, and you're only running on a 2S battery. So those are the two big differences in this particular class. And even if you're running something like work stock or one of the basic classes, you're still going to have a hitch. You'll still have to have the suspension, and you'll probably want to get some wheels and tires, whether they be metal beadlock or otherwise. So that is one of the big things there, guys. The third thing you should really focus on is, in my opinion, and I'm not brand loyal to Castle or really any of the brands, but it appears that the Castle with their electronics works better with the pullers because of the lack of cogging. It gets you off the line and it gets these wheels spinning even if you're in a high gear, and really no other system does that except for Castle that I have found, and that's just my personal experience. I prefer the 5700 kV motor, and I typically run my transmission in second gear. I run it on the lowest pinion possible. So I always think that you should run it on the lowest pinion possible because you're creating the most amount of torque. These 3S sidewinders work really well. The 4S ESCs work great. Really any Castle. The Mamba Monster is really a favorite, but that's kind of overkill. The reason I'm running a fan is just because I'll run a fan on just about everything, but really in a 10-second run, you don't need the fan because you're not going to create that much heat, and if you're creating that much heat, you need to change your gearing. So that's one of the big things. You just got to have a nice brushless system. I prefer the Castle system, as do most of the pullers. So if you're going to go that far, you need to get an AX-Speed transmission. An AX-Speed transmission is basically the Traxxas plastic transmission in aluminum form. So it has heavier bearings, it has heavier casing. It's just able to handle anything, probably up to 8S. I've had stuff up to 8S go through that transmission and it does fine, but there is a chance that if you use the plastic transmission that you're going to have a failure at some point, basically because those bearings aren't going to be able to hold the amount of torque that you're going to be asking out of this machine. So an AX-Speed transmission works great. All this stuff can be found on eBay or Amazon, guys. It's nothing special. I also think you need a motor mount, a metal motor mount, and a metal motor mount cover. That is an absolute need. Also, you guys need to get a servo of your choice. It's all metal. When you're pulling with that much torque with these wheels and tires up here, they tend to wobble a lot, and so you're going to need a heavy servo. Nothing industry special, just a really solid metal servo that's going to be able to take the torque of the wheels going back and forth. So the last thing that you want to focus on, guys, is what you're looking at up here. It's the weight bar. It's the extra weights here. Now, don't get intimidated by this this weight bar. This is really nothing special. It's got 2 metal posts that go into the chassis right there, and they have 2 screw down areas where you can tighten it. And this is just basically an this is a steel 90-degree angle piece, and I have some of my material in there for just for some extra fluff to make sure that weight is right. This is a Bully Dog diesel performance part that I just had laying around, and then I had a Ford emblem that I added here just for a little bit of flair. I got some lights on here, but don't let this intimidate you. First of all, you can pull without a front weight bar. You're allowed 24 inches length here, so really the best way you're going to get results is to have your weight all the way up here. As you can see, I mean, this is nothing back here. All the weight is up front. I'm balancing it right on the motor there, and it's still going forward. So this is the last thing you want to focus on, but don't let it intimidate you and keep you from the hobby. This can be done in pretty much any garage. You can get some pieces from a hardware store and build a front weight box. I've seen them build out of giant chewing gum containers that are aluminum, all sorts of different things. I've seen it all. And you can even order some plastic ones online that you can put weight inside. You can put buckshot BBs, or you can fill it with lead, whatever you want. And they make specific weights for this. This is just some bush hog steel that's chopped up, but I've got everything to where it weighs perfectly at 12 pounds. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. There's nothing to these machines. Don't let them intimidate you. This is an easy machine to transfer into a pulling machine. Now, this is a TRX4. You can use anything, guys. It's really that simple. And like I said, if you guys are interested, check out the American RC Tractor Pullers League on Facebook. They will have a lot of the answers, and they'll be able to talk about the schedule for the national pulling leagues, where to go to get your answers, and where the conversations are happening about the RC pulling industry. So guys, I'm really happy that you guys are tuning into the channel and you guys are so interested in the pulling rigs. I am very excited about this part of the hobby. It is just incredible, and it's very near and dear to my heart. As you guys have seen me build tractors in the past, we're going to be building some more tractors in the future. I have one being built right now. So if you guys are interested in learning more about these pulling machines and how to build them, how to perfect them, how to fix the weak points, then like and subscribe to the Radioactive RC Ranch. Welcome to the Radioactive RC Ranch family, guys. Welcome. This is a great place to get questions answered and to see about the conversation about this industry. All right, guys, until the next one, we will see you radio heads later.